I know, we're starting pretty much on time today, folks. Welcome back to the cast, and ooh, what a motley crew we are. Fortunately, our friend Alex will not be present for this week or next week's Mehcast due to him visiting relatives out of state. So, in the meantime, it's just gonna be yours truly, and whoever else is willing to join. Thank you. Oh god. Last time, we started the Crystal Caves. Hopefully we finish them today. I'm sorry, hey Damon. I was cut off by some dickhead who keeps making the ground shake.
Bastards.
I don't give a shit. So it feels like we have I've had quite a number of things happen, including the fact that our not so pleasant gas bag, Wheezy Joe Biden, has resigned from the presidential race, to which I'm like, and not a single fuck was given that day.
Exactly. Good fucking riddance.
Yeah, but people are trying to gas up Kamala Harris like she's gonna do anything. Bitch,
yeah, like
please.
the hag's actually gonna do anything right.
Yeah, and not only that, there's more than enough evidence to be like, yeah, she's not exactly a good idea either, folks.
Exactly.
Ooh. Yeah. Well, it is important news, so we do have to talk about it. Even if it's news that not a whole lot of us really give a shit about. Well, at least you're a more honest Canadian than Logan Laidlaw. Because seriously, that dude who... Because here's the thing, Sonic, it's like Logan and ends up getting mad, ends up trying to be like, oh, well, Trump would be terrible because I have friends who are in the US. I'm like, dude, why do you need to get involved in politics that don't concern you? Because, like I said, he's Canadian. Why should anybody care? Why should he care?
Yeah, I mean, they've got Trudeau to worry about.
And their healthcare that essentially tells you, oh, if you don't got the money, well, I believe the spy from TF2 had an interesting bit from that one video. I'm not going to quote it for obvious reasons. So, okay, so now we get the, sprint. Ooh, banana.
Oh, banana.
First try, bitch. You know, whenever they try to tell me whenever they try to ask me which Kong is my favorite Kong, and I'm like, well, what about Lanky? It'd be like who? And I'm like, one of the best Kongs from 64. They're like, I haven't played 64. To which I'm like, you're missing out.
And he's also fun.
Yes. He's still a lot more fun than Tiny Kong.
Yeah. I'm okay with Tiny, but Dixie's better in every way.
Yes. Though, one thing I can definitely say Tiny has over Dixie, she actually grew up.
Yes, that's right. Diddy Kong Racing DS was the first one to do that.
And then there was the Wii Barrel Blast game.
Yep.
Most people forget a lot of things existed.
And I didn't get that one. It was called Jet Race down here.
Why would it be called Jet Race?
I have no idea.
Touché.
I don't think that's the case.
Let's see, what... Oh, and another thing that happened, and Trump almost got assassinated.
Yep, that did happen. He literally dodged a bullet.
Yep. Thanks a lot, people. You only guaranteed Trump's gonna be coming back as president.
Exactly. They just guaranteed a Trump win.
What did that accomplish? What did that accomplish?
Nothing.
Same situation, but now you look even stupider. If you wanted to win in the presidential election and legitimately, you shouldn't have tried aiming for killing off one of the candidates. And an innocent emergency service worker ended up dying.
Yeah, rest in peace to that guy.
And there were a lot of scumbags on social media that are like, that act like, oh, that's not a problem. And I'm like,
there are even people that thought it was staged. I don't think so.
You can't stage something like that. I think some people believe that just because of the fact that Secret Service was kind of, their response time was a little lacking, according to them. Like, they were expecting an actual shooter to just show up during a rally. Yeah, because let's put it this way. When JFK got assassinated, there was a dude with a sniper. He stayed far away from the public. And when Lincoln got assassinated, it was during an opera house play. Well, an assassin actually being an assassin. That's more what I was getting at. Because the thing is like, if you're gonna do the... Like, if you were actually going to commit to this, maybe... Rather... Or maybe just don't. Just don't. Yeah. Because I don't think any of the weird people that support Trump have ever or outright said that they wanted to go after Biden. Somewhere, maybe, but that's a bit of a stretch. Well, we better get this out of the way. Whisker again.
Yep, the goddamn beetle. Except this time, a lot worse.
Hold on a sec, I'm going to turn on my virtual camera. There we go. Now you can see what I'm doing. Let's restart since I was distracted.
Oh boy, it was ready for one of the worst races in...
Well, Nintendo 64 history, but yes. Camera! Camera!
Cameras?
I swear, I'm not trying to suck on purpose. Why do you have to have a head start? Are you fucking bug? You didn't have this head start when you were fighting against Tiny.
And you've also got ice physics.
Ugh. And now we gotta go down the slide. Camera, do not screw with me now. Damn it! First of many. And so it begins. For science.
It's always that one jump.
I feel like I shouldn't press the jump button at all for that.
Yeah, I think that's the case.
What? Game? What were you doing there?
Game!
This isn't in Yoshi's Tropical Island.
I know.
There we go. No!
Who does that beetle think he is? He's beneath me. I think it's a Vegeta. I'll show her. I'll show them all. I'll reduce that thing to ashes.
What is that a reference to? No. I know it's a reference to I know it's a Dragon Ball reference, but the thing is like, which part of Dragon Ball was that a reference to? Was that when? Was that one of the? Was that when? Oh, right, that one time when Vegeta and Goku were inside of Boo's body.
Oh, that was actually in the Ultimate Uncut dub when Vegeta's about to fire off his Gallic gun.
Though I did improvise a little.
Yeah, the funny thing is that, I felt like the Kai version of Goku's fight with Vegeta. I felt like the Kai version of Goku's fight with Vegeta had the better music, though that's thanks to Kenji Yamamoto.
Yep. Gotta love orchestral music.
The first fight. Because, as much as Yamamoto plagiarizes, quote-unquote, because honestly, what a music composer doesn't plagiarize these days?
You're not wrong. Musicians do it all the time with samples.
I'm at a loss for words, guys. Okay, now we're back to normal. Oh, you fucker. No, if I were to use the shortcut, I would get penalized for it. Come on, let third... Ah! I'm gonna get 50.
Resurrection.
God damn it, Gil. I wonder if anybody's gotten Liam O'Brien to say that. That since he's the most recent voice of Gil. Yeah, but I'm... Somebody has actually gone out of their way to mod it so that Gil has his original voice in Street Fighter, from Street Fighter 3 and Street Fighter 5, which is odd. This isn't gonna be enough. Yeah, one shot. Can't miss my chick. Yeah. And so this opportunity comes once in a lifetime, you better. Oh. We am angry.
Yeah, this race is gonna take a lot of tries.
You know,
Several deaths later.
you know, funnily enough, there was a counter I was thinking of wanting to throw in for a joke thing, which was because of the Tomorrowverse not being afraid of showcasing the male form, I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to make a man-ass count of this movie universe, aren't I? Because, oh boy, Fleece Johnson would love the Tomorrowverse. So, I watched Superman, Man of Tomorrow yesterday. And... okay, so, let's just say, first, it's supposed to be an origin movie of how Clark becomes Superman, but at the same time, and we also end up taking liberties that James Gunn himself is likely going to take when it comes to his making of Superman and next year. So, Man of Tomorrow kind of opens with a young Clark Kent watching an alien movie with what I presume is what's his face? Who's one of Pete Ross, I think. And Clark gets understandably disturbed by the prospect of the idea that people would say aliens are disgusting and whatever. Or because, you know, he is an alien. And Clark has to go home. Because he couldn't really, you know, taking it. He gets picked up by his dad, and by the way, Martha and Jonathan Kent are both alive in this continuity. Jonathan did not pull a Kevin Costner and get sucked into a tornado. So essentially, Clark is then told. So then we see that Clark was told that he is indeed an alien, but at the same time, I'm just like we barely get to see anything of Clark's origin before he decides to want to be a hero, and he gets this prototype costume, and he makes a prototype suit out of a hoodie, some jeans, a cap, a beanie, and some goggles. Yeah, this came out before the show. Probably. Anyway, so Clark is just... so Lex is giving out this speech of, like this rocket going out into space and finding out the answer to the question of, are we alone in the universe? And Lois ends up exposing some fraudulent bits between him and the president into the press, and then the rocket kind of almost blows up in Lex's face, leading to him getting arrested. To which I'm like, Superman doesn't even get to take on Lex Luthor. And this version of Lex already has a war suit. I don't know why. Like, he just does. Kryptonite isn't even introduced to this movie until Superman villain number 1 shows up, or rather Superman villain number 2 shows up, which is Lobo. Yes, Lobo, you heard right. The main man is in this movie. He is not voiced by Brad Garrett or even David Sobolov. He's reminiscent of OG Lobo. Because nobody likes edgy Lobo from the new fucking 52. And earlier Superman was having a conversation with a janitor by the name of R. Jones. Superman fans will know what the R stands for. I'll give you a hint. He was in Superman the Animated Series. And he ended up having quite the power. If you can't guess, it's Parasite. Rudy Jones, who apparently has a family in this universe. A wife, a daughter, and is expecting another one. They don't die. Okay, so nothing bad happens to the family. However, as Superman tries to fight Lobo, quite a bit of property damage happens in this movie, which is standard for Superman media. But apparently, people who hate a certain in Snyder can't seem to get it through their thick as fuck skulls. Well, Superman fights him a bit. It ends up at Star Labs, and Lobo throws a device that ends up giving off some kind of... It ends up having some radioactive goo inside, which ends up turning a pinned by debris Rudy Jones into what would later be Superman villain number 3, the Parasite. Also in this movie, John Jones, the Martian Manhunter. Because apparently Superman isn't allowed to be able to carry a movie by himself. No, he has to have help. Up to which I'm like, do you guys just not want Superman and to potentially end up being forced to kill one of his bad guys? Because that's what happened in the last solo outing the Man of Steel had. They don't want to have to deal with Superman having to make difficult choices. No, they just want Superman and to have pretty much all the help he can get. Fucking bud. John briefly helps out Superman in this fight against Lobo. Oh, and Superman earlier, and Superman, and prior to John joining the fight, I was hit by a kryptonite ring, thing that Lobo happens to have on his person, thus introducing kryptonite as early as before Superman became known as Superman. And Lois is the one who keeps on insisting that he would be called Superman and not the Flying Man, as Perry White, who is not Lawrence Fishburne in this continuity, he would try to say it to us. And I'm like, hello, not Lawrence Fishburne. And admittedly, he is nowhere near... No Perry White has ever been as good as George Zunza, who voiced him in Superman the Animated Series. In case you're curious. Oh, fucking hell. Anyway. Hey, so Superman goes to recharge his powers in the sun, flies back down through the atmosphere a little too quickly to the point where his clothes burn off, and he punches Lobo in the face while in the nude, and lifts him up in front of the press in the nude. To which I'm like, well, now Lois Lane already knows Clark's size before getting to know him. Because she was there. And after Superman defeats Lobo, Perry White tries to prioritize more or less on Superman and more on Jean and Lobo. So later on, Clark ends up getting a visit from Jean, who turns into a more or streamlined version of himself, to which I'm like, why didn't you do that earlier? And Jean's like, I only reverted into my natural form so to distract Lobo briefly. And I'm like, dude, you might as well have turned into your regular form and twerked at him. Oh, and speaking of twerking, Parasite, as he's being operated on doctors before sucking the energy out of him, is the second of the various man-asses in the Tomorrowverse. First movie in, and the film, and neither film is shy about showcasing the male form. Why, yes, there is more to come. Why did you ask? Anyway, so Rudy's going around sucking people. Well, not in a good way. Until he becomes more and more grotesque, resembling that of a monster. And he also ends up absorbing the memory, knowledge, emotions, and whatnot of his victim. And all the while, Lois tries to get information from Lobo about Superman, but Lobo just actively fucks with her while he's in the cell that shocks him and anybody else who tries to come in, and without any authorized entry. To which I'm like, Lobo, come on. So then Superman tries to stop Parasite. But ends up getting sucked on by Mr. Jones. And yes, I know this sounds like an innuendo just waiting to happen. And let's just say anything to do with Parasite, it becomes an innuendo. So Jean tries to join it, but he also gets his power sucked on, and he somehow, and of course, Jean gets burnt by Parasite using Superman's heat vision, to which I'm like, well, he's definitely dead this time, and definitely get him out of my movie. Superman, and being sick, ends up having a heart-to-heart with Lois, who has been trying to... Who seems to be a somewhat controversial figure on the Daily Planet, and though due to her overwhelming success compared to everybody else. And then Superman gets the idea to break Lex Luthor out of prison and then have him essentially try to help come up with a plan to stop Parasite. Parasite, meanwhile, briefly sees his family and runs away. Before absorbing more of the city's power, then transforming into what essentially looks like Godzilla. Lobo had managed to get everybody out of the power plant, and that they were planning to lure him into, by threatening to bomb himself. No, I'm not joking. And Lobo even shows proof of it. It's underneath his vest. Lobo tries to take on the Parasite using the Kryptonite ring, but then realizes that the Parasite only retains the abilities and weaknesses of whomever he absorbs from temporarily. To which I'm like, oh, so now you're being comic book accurate. So, Lobo tries to take Parasite with him, but fails and seemingly dies. I'm like, oh no, Lobo is actually dead this time. We'll get him actually out of this movie. Yeah, you can kind of tell where I'm going, dudes. Not this time, motherfucker! Not this time! Suck it, bitch! Suck it! Yes, cry! Cry me a river of tears!
Yes!
Oh, and as it turns out, Jean's not actually dead, and to the surprise of nobody. And he faked his death by using a mind trick on Parasite and Superman to make them think he was dead so he could hide and plan out things. To which I'm like, you know, Jean, you could have communicated this to Clark. Alright, you guys had a bit of an understanding earlier, so what happened there? Anywho. And this was revealed after Lex tries to turn on Clark by firing the kryptonite beam at Superman and Parasite, vowing to make both of them slaves. To which I'm like, Lex, you fucking dumbass. In what universe is this a viable strategy? Because there is no universe where Lex is gonna do this and get away with it scot-free. I mean, and Clark, so that, and after they defeat Sexy Lexi, Clark tries to reason with the public about Rudy. But his words kind of fall on deaf ear. And it's just like, guys are so stupid. Thank you, Sonic Unleashed. Nice start over! Anyway, Superman tries to reason with the crowd and whatnot while explaining his intention, which is, the whole I'm not here to scare anybody, I'm just here to help. while also trying to convince the crowd that Rudy is a good person deep down. And they're like, kill the monster! Or to which I'm like, oh, fuck's sake, guys. And then Superman stops Parasite from retaliating against them after they threw Molotov cocktails at him. And then Superman sees that the power plant is overloading with energy, so Rudy, after Superman is too worn out to try, goes to sap the power himself, and then at first it looks like he's about to explode, but then he just turns to stone and then gets dusted. The movie ends with Superman and John and Lobo, who recovered. Or because, yes, that's something Lobo does. Yep. And then he proceeds to troll them by saying the fact that he had killed the other Zarnian. And so which I'm like, so we don't even know if your story checks out with your comic book counterpart. Or even in Superman the Animated Series version. And John realizes that he may not be the last Martian. Lobo tells John that he may not be the last Martian. And Lobo just leaves. And Superman asks him what, and you follow him. And John does go while Superman stays. And he he flies away from this after. And he flies away from So it's telling her to reschedule. Pause buffering. So, and there's no post-credit scene teasing the next entry in the Tomorrowverse, which, by the way, is the Justice Society film. And yeah, the movie just ends there. This has to be the most mediocre Superman movie, animated or live action, that I have ever seen in my life. Like, I'm quite certain that a certain Jimmy Pew Pew is going to take inspiration from this thing. And when Superman comes out next year, or aside from literally ripping off the scripts from Batman v Superman and Man of Steel all in one fell swoop. To which I'm just... Yep. I plan on watching... I'm gonna have to watch all of these, you have to keep in mind.
I pity you. You have to.
Oh. Considering Considering I have taken to film criticism, yes, I do feel morally obligated to do so. So next movie I'm going to be tackling is the Justice Society film. And I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about that.
I say that for future Kevin. No, time travel ever one thing back in that couple times.
Yes, it would cause a time paradox.
Oh, Grandma.
You can't divide tape with tape. You've just created paradox. No, you did.
Or, call it Grandma.
Legends of Tomorrow, I hope whoever has written you who never works in the television industry ever again. And I am so thankful I skipped out on Aquaman 2. Because I don't think I would have been in the mood to see Amber Turd again. Man, this ain't my dad. This is a cell phone. My dad's not a phone. Duh. I think that has to be my favorite part of that song. I threw the rest of the cake too. Welcome to the real world, jackass. So, Damon.
Yeah?
What is your... Have you seen any DC... any animated movie at all?
Nope, not really.
Yeah, after the recent string of them. And during and after Apocalypse War, I can't blame you. Wait, are we talking the Constantine... We're either talking Constantine City of Demons, or... Oh, that's House of Mystery. That kind of sets up the plot. That unintentionally ends up setting up the plot for, No, it sets up the plot for... Or, it sets up the plot for what would be Crisis on Infinite Earths. Because apparently, as revealed in the movie, Constantine in apparent... As revealed in that short, and what would later be Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 3, Constantine ended up unintentionally destroying the entirety of the multiverse by having Flash restart the timeline. I just can't stand this need of using Barry as a constant reset button. Barry is not supposed to be like that. Barry's supposed to be someone who has been able to move on from the past, but no, he just keeps being used as a reset button because, one, he is the dumbest man alive, and two, that timeline is looking very, very needy. Yeah, kinda gets stale after a while, guys. Except not. Oh, and speaking of the animated Crisis on Infinite Earths, so after our heroes fail to stop the Anti-Monitor, or from destroying the multiverse, effectively, they ended up having to come into a situation where they're like, okay, I guess we gotta make a singular universe now. Which, by the way, James Gunn, on the pathological liar that he is like, oh, not every animated project is connected to the DCU. Oh, and I'm like, then what's the fucking point?
Welcome to bonus stage.
Yep. Yep. So in this Crisis on Infinite Earths in the animated Tomorrowverse, as the Anti-Monitors start to erase the multiverse, Or to the point where they end up erasing 3 of the most beloved animated universes: Super Friends, Teen Titans 2003, and the DC animated universe. Nobody hates Teen Titans more than the nobody hates 03 Teen Titans more than WB's writers. Yep, and out of all the multiverses that could have gone away, why couldn't it have been Teen Titans Go? You had one opportunity to get rid of all the shit universes. Fine! Fuck them kids, says Brent from Party Crashers. Yeah. Yep. Anyway, so yeah, and as much as I do not like the idea of needing to put everybody for multiple timelines while also sacrificing Diana to be able to do it because of the machine requiring somebody who is immortal and to operate it. So, yeah. Yeah, it's just... this. And then... and John Constantine ultimately accepts just, you know, dying. And never being able to be reborn. Aren't it all? Well, he just accepts oblivion and then moves on. And while everybody else gets to have the better universe. Club, but yes. Rule gets portraits in this game. You gotta light these candles. These clunky as hell controls. I'd have to say a 2. Yep. Oh, finally! One of the banana fairies. I've been meaning to find one of these. Never forget that he was the man behind the curtain. Wow. Someone's feeling bold today.
Look, I like the song, but it's not the best. But he could.
Up, I can't use the guitar. God damn it. Let's try this again with more gusto.
That's not what happened.
Well, at the very least, I don't have to worry about collecting the bananas.
Oh yeah, and I guess stuff to eat. One.
Come on!
Ragna's drinking himself to death, man.
About that, Ragna no longer exists.
Right. Oh yeah.
You forgot about Central Fiction's ending. Which I don't blame some people for forgetting, because some of those people didn't play the fucking game.
Because let's be honest, most people fucking get the story.
Even though Central Fiction is the conclusion to the entirety of the Blaze Blue franchise. As in, if people think Cross Tag Battle's the conclusion, I'm sorry. They're like, we don't know. Blaze Blue Mehcast is like, why are we drinking ourselves stupid again?
Because we're stuck in a goddamn roguelike, and we're not crossing over with a fight. We're never getting our fighting game again. Not with the creator gone and the story kind of ended.
Yep.
The gacha game get terrible.
Womp womp.
I mean, I'm glad Blaze Blue ended, but fuck. Oh yeah,
Somehow Palpatine returned. Well,
no, not you, Kevin. Not the other Kevin. The Kevin that gave every fighting game competitive player and with the best character in the goddamn game.
And meanwhile... Just imagine your favorite anime verse taking one good long look at Dante. They boasting about how powerful they are. And then his only retort is Royal Guard. Gilgamesh. From what I've heard Gilgamesh could probably be a serious threat to Dante.
Depends if they're that's the sad thing. It's really a matter of does Gilgamesh take this guy seriously or not. Probably would see Dante as some asshole. Maybe eventually we'll figure out. Probably figure out that he's
Dante, they would just
so bullshit.
Dante, they would just be like Trickster, Gunslinger, Swordmaster, Royal Guard,
Hell, I mean,
Electric Sword, or Electric Sword, Electric Sword.
hell, I mean, I would, part of what they did, part of gotta be human. If any of you fucking stupid. It's not how it works.
We have Bazooka. And then there's Chunky. He's dead. DK. Chunky's dead. You've seen the Brental Floss video, right? Of the Where Are They Now? How the DK crew. And now to demonstrate Chunky's invisibility powers.
A little bit. You kind of missed the spot there, Chunky, good boy.
It's interesting how, like, everything but his vest and maybe his hat turns invisible.
What if that kind of invisibility?
It's a strange type of invisibility. It's not one of those, oh, you have to be naked in order for this to work fully. No, this is one of the, oh, some clothes will be invisible, but others will not. Yep. Sounds about right. Alright. Nice seeing you. So it looks like it's just you and me, Damon.
Pretty much.
So what is your least favorite thing about your favorite Kong in this game?
Well, I don't really have any least favorite things about any of them.
My least favorite thing about Lanky is that he doesn't get enough to do.
True.
And then there's Tiny, who gets to do goddamn everything.
Yep.
It's kind of why I don't like her all that much.
Alright.
apparently... Apparently, Jarrett claims to not know anything of Berserk, to which I'm like, boy. Oh, you're about to learn. As one of the memes I've showcased in our server was essentially that of the side effect of including style switching from Devil May Cry 4 and 5 into Devil May Cry 3. Well, at least I don't need to keep that around.
That's right.
And style switching in Devil May Cry 3 on the Switch, which is a little different from style switching in Devil May Cry 4 and 5, because in 4 and 5, Dante goes through a series of poses, and the transition between each pose is seamless.
Oh, alright.
And there is no end lag. There is no delay between transitioning from one pose to another. Like, Dante could be in Swordmaster, and then you could just press any direction on the D-pad, and he'll either be in Trickster, Gunslinger, or Royal Guard. Now, keep in mind, style switching became a thing starting with Devil May Cry 4. In Devil May Cry 3 did not have style switching. Since the devs didn't really, think of that. And so Dante in Devil May Cry 3 does not have the poses that Devil May Cry 4 and 5 Dante have. So you know what it kind of sounds like in the game, Damon? So Dante lights up a bright color, or anytime you switch styles, and you just hear a clang sound. So, yeah. Essentially, in Devil May Cry, people who have been playing Devil May Cry games on the Switch, and they're gonna end up getting a lot of clanging noises, as opposed to the poses, that Dante has. And here's the thing, unlike in Devil May Cry, unlike in Devil May Cry 4 and 5, you have to manually level up every single style all that Dante has. And now we finally got rid of that DICKHEAD. And so we can explore our crystal caverns in peace. And enjoy this wonderful, wonderful music.
Yep.
Rest in
Well,
spaghetti.
he's dead.
Rest in spaghetti, never forgetty. One of my favorite bits in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Bridge was like Dio's like looking over the body of one of the drunkards he was using to test out the mask's power. The stone mask I'm referring to. Oh, and now I gotta start this.
Yep.
Come on. And I'm done. Just like that. And now I gotta leave. Oh, never mind. I don't have to leave. Damn it. Yay! Ow. Tiny. You know what sometimes tends to break the silence?
What?
Saying, how about that local sports team? Ah, yes, the local sports team. They're very local in how they're a sports team.
Yep. And I never cared for sports.
Neither do I. And it's just... And people will just be like, oh, but you play sports-related video games, and I'm like, that's different.
Yep. I mean, there's nothing wrong with playing some Mario Golf or Mario Tennis, or even Wii Sports.
There was something wrong with Mario Golf on the N64, because that was just...
Especially the fourth course, because there is some really difficult courses in there.
Well, not only that, it's just... Fly, Diddy, fly. Fly and make your parents proud, whoever they may be.
Run, run, you're free!
Oh, damn it. Oh, that was fun while it lasted. Excuse me a minute, I'll be right back.
Take your time.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back.
So, tell me something. How did you feel about the famous as Professor Oak potentially getting with Ash's mom while he's out journeying? Being mean?
Yeah, that's a bit of a theory right there.
Oh, goodbye, Ash. I hope you enjoy your journey, because I'm going to bang your mom.
You know, funnily enough, Green Sudberg ended up getting Stuart Zanget to do to help with the English cover of the original Pokemon opening.
That's right.
He even provided the "oh my's" is at various parts, and I'm like, oh. And yeah, he could still do the Professor Oak voice.
Yes, he can, and he'll always be Professor Oak to me.
Personally enjoyed Kyle Bear in the Pokemon Origins anime.
Yeah, he was good in that.
He even quoted the famous "I came when I heard you beat the Elite Four." People were initially disappointed that Lucian Dodge did not say, "Hey, smell you later."
Oh no.
They were initially disappointed, and then he said it in episode 3. I wish I was kidding. Like, at first the fandom wasn't fond of the fact that, that Dodge didn't say it in the first episode, but then he did.
Alright.
So it's a case of I don't think the line would have fit there. Also, that short series was my introduction to Lucian Dodge as a voice actor.
Oh, cool.
He was great as Blue.
He really was.
And Pappenbrook was really good as Red.
I agree. And keep in mind, I saw it in Japanese first before
Same.
Before I watched the dub.
Junko Takuchi was alright.
Yeah, and it's Mokuba.
Shut
And
up.
Naruto.
Shut up,
Mokuba.
Mokuba, hang up that phone. But bro, your butt! I feel like I have to imagine in that Terra Sans must get a lot of people who end up asking to be a part of a Shut Up Mokuba sketch. Because I know the 4Kids cast is aware of the abridged series.
Welcome to
Yep,
bonus day.
because they quote it, except a few.
Obviously.
Is that an abridged line? Because Kaiba doesn't do abridged lines.
Because Eric Stewart thinks he's funny and Lord Karibo. Something along those lines.
Honestly,
His opinion.
I get that. Honestly, if I wanted... Honestly, for a headcanon voice for Kaiba, I would prefer Roger Craig Smith.
Oh, nice.
Like, he has a smug-sounding voice.
Yeah. Oh, and if Yu-Gi-Oh had an LA dub, I think Crispin Freeman would be a good fit for Jack.
Yes, he would. Though for Yugi, I kind of imagined... For some reason, I ended up imagining Troy Baker. As for Jinochi, Vic.
That could work.
Now, let me think. I think for Honda, I had in mind Doug Erholtz.
It's not a bad choice.
He does a good best friend voice. Plus, he sounds close enough to, Greg Abbey.
Also, Cam Clark would be a good fit. He's pretty close to that too. You know, with a voice like this.
As for Anzu, actually kind of at a loss for her. I know a lot of people still will prefer Amy Birnbaum.
So do I. And I had an anime crush on Anzu when I was a kid.
I'm sure not a lot of people would blame me for that.
And I was pretty deluded back then. This isn't a secret, by the way.
I'm sure. Let's see. I think maybe Kate Higgins. She could probably pull off the friendship speeches. You don't want to hear her talk about friendship, man. You do not want to hear her spew out friendship speeches. Because we saw what happened to poor Johnny Steps.
You must go get friends.
Oh, fuck. I did not get Donkey Kong's blueprint. Where is that? Oh, now I realize where he is. So I would be hard pressed to find anybody who could replace Hollingshed Ed as Mai, and Sans as Mokuba, since she would be open to doing LA dubs. And Darren Dunstan as Pegasus, because Dunstan actually sounds like the Seiyu.
He's great. It's your turn, Yugi boy.
Kaiba boy. What are you, gay?
Kaiba boy.
What are you, gay? Which I might be.
Yay.
I don't know who I'd pick for Merrick. Like for an LA dub version of him. Luckily for me, Donkey Kong was armed with the Second Amendment.
Yep, he's got his gun rights.
Yep. And no.
Oh, and I thought of a decent choice for Haga, Maxie Whitehead.
If she's
You know,
up for,
close to the
if she,
Japanese voice.
yeah, if she'd be up for an LA dub, sure. Though Ryuzaki, I think Sam Riegel could reprise.
Yeah. And of course as Para or May of the Labyrinth Brothers.
Right. Though for Bandit
Also-
Keith in America.
In America!
Oh, and I actually thought who could play the Rare Hunter or Zork? Scott McNeil.
You sure?
If it was a Canadian dub. Or by Coastal.
He could do. Yeah, that'd probably work as well.
And of course, Crispin Freeman could do Pandora or Arcana, being close to the Japanese voice. I think I know who would do a Mana or Black Magician Girl. Jeremy Lee.
Yeah, Jeremy Lay would be great.
She's cute as a button. Can't deny that.
Yep.
And I think Johnny Young Bosch could be a good Valen.
And he was initially going to be a Numa.
Yeah. And also Laura Bailey as Kasara. That could have worked.
Well, if this were like a union thing.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah,
It would have, yeah, it would have to be Union because, as otherwise you'd not be able to get Troy Baker or Matt or Roger Craig Smith or Crispin Freeman
Yeah.
because they are all Union only.
And of course, if it were possible, I think Charles Martinet could have made a good Kronos or Crowler. Because with the Italian accent this time?
I mean, considering he was down for voice acting in Dragon Ball Superhero.
I actually have a list of my casting choices. I have it in a Word document. Well, not a Word document, a Notepad document.
Right.
And also, I think I know who would play Darkness or Night Shroud in GX Season 4. I think Rick Robertson would have been a good fit using his Deborah voice.
Interesting.
Yeah, that could work.
You and the Supreme Kai will die at your feet, just as you intended.
Wait, what did you say, Deborah?
Oh, I'm sorry, Master.
I don't even know who TFS got for Deborah in their version.
Neither do I.
Oh. He's gonna kill me for this. Oh, what do I care? That shit's barely canon. Alright. It's time for Danky Kang to fight round 2 with a certain motherfucker we dealt with in the first world.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
I don't think you're hammering it. Why Armadillo? Why? Granted, this music slaps, but come on! We just fought you on the first level as Donkey Kong.
Yep, same
And-
boss, same character.
Yep. At the very least, when Dogadon came back, it was a different character.
That's right.
But here, it's the same fight, only with a
Exactly.
twist. Now it has the obligatory shockwave attack. Such a difficult move to avoid. A galaxy brain level play. Hey, Armadillo. Pro tip, don't poke your head out if you don't want to get hit. So difficult to avoid, am I right?
Yes.
Okay, that time that was my bad. I got cocky. Or
Don't
as,
get too cocky, Star Fox.
or as Han Solo Peter would say, don't get penis-y.
Great kid, don't get penisy.
I swear, we gotta do the Family Guy Star Wars specials at some point.
Those specials are fantastic.
It's like Family Guy, I had some of its worst seasons around that time, but at the same time, they still delivered with the Star Wars specials, and Seth MacFarlane was not afraid of making fun of himself and whatnot.
That's right.
Oh, he's gonna go for one shockwave. Bam. Two shockwaves. Three shockwaves, let's stomp.
Please, shockwaves. Ah.
And now he's got a big cannon on his back. And now he's gonna try to shoot us from the air. At where we are instead of where we're going to be. And this missile for some reason. Oh, come on! That was such bullshit. And that's all she wrote. Kind of pathetic. There was barely anything more to this boss. It was piss easy. Tom, 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 Tom.
Yeah.
And now we're done with Crystal Caves, but there is one more thing we gotta do before we move on to the creepy castle.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That goddamn fucking rabbit.
Yeah. Alright, Lanky, let's do this. Let's go to Fungi Forest. You know, I ended up sharing one time, in memes, a video of this bit, and where Raven is essentially doing in part from the old 1980s dub of Akira. Alright, she's playing the part of Tetsuo. In context, she's then like, leave me alone! And suddenly she gets visions of a green horse. Or is causing her to reel in pain.
Oh no.
Akira! 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 Or in the 2001 dub, Akira. I feel like the 80s dub only knew of the English pronunciation of the word Akira, not the Japanese pronunciation of it.
Yeah.
Whereas the 2001 dub at least felt like the actors were given a bit more to work with. Especially Johnny Young Bosch. He and Joshua Seth were perfect in that movie.
I bet they were.
Seth played Tetsuo in that dub, whereas Bosch was Kaneda.
Cool.
Or I'm sorry, Kaneda. Another thing I gotta watch at one point, Ghost in the Shell. I have the 4K of it, I'm just like, when do I want to watch it? Alright, you stupid fucking rabbit. Let's do this. So the first race isn't that bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
It's the second race that's the problem.
Yep, and it's the worst one.
You know, funnily enough, the rabbit can one-shot the Kasplat just by walking by him.
Yes, you can.
That is the funniest thing in this. It's like, if you haven't gotten that blueprint, just use the rabbit and kill him. See, this is also kind of a thing that happens in Banjo-Kazooie. Oh, screw you. He only has a consolation prize. Wake up, you bastard. Gotta do this again, but this time with the ring instant in sprint. Oh, shut up, you stupid British rabbit.
Come on!
Ah, shut up, you jerk!
You know, there's one thing that this rabbit doesn't do that we could do. Hug the walls. Damn it, I missed.
And there's a little bit of an exploit you can do with Lanky's barrel. The arrangement.
Ah, damn it, I failed. Attempt.
Failure.
A sec, I'll be right back.
Take your time.
I'm back.
Cool.
Okay. Gonna create a restore point. Because I ain't playing fair with this goddamn rabbit.
That's completely understandable, because if something's unfair, you might as well rewind or use a save state.
There's a method. Was this close? You're not gaining the lead again. Finally!
You don't have to deal with that fast bastard ever again.
Nope. Alright, let's get out of here. Now that we're done with... Now that we're done... Now that we are... We've got one more battle crown and 2 more fairies left. now it is time. Alright. Now for the only horror themed stage in this game.
And one of the most unique ones.
Oh, come on! I need Donkey Kong for this. Dun, 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 dun. It certainly has a unique boss. I'll give it that.
A certain cutout, should I say.
Which, by the way, when I get to doing, at the very least, I have heard good things about the adaptation of Batman Long Halloween.
Nice.
So, hopefully, that might... So hopefully that might do something for me. So Chunky had to move a boulder for Lanky. Boom, boom, boom. I'm having to use the tag barrel quite a bit in this.
Yep. There's a tag anywhere ROM hack for a reason.
Welcome to bonus stage.
This again? We just played this in the previous world.
Yep.
Come on! No, Damon, at
Welcome to
first I
bonus
would
stage.
somewhat feel bad for the fact that that Mortal Kombat is outright banned in Australia. But then I realized what Mortal Kombat currently is like, and I'm like, you guys are lucky that you don't have to ever experience what Mortal Kombat currently is. I'm dead serious about that, because Mortal Kombat kind of sucks. You get what I mean, right? Damon? Hello? Hello? Now I feel lonely. Oh, hop. Hello. Well, I guess I'm going into Creepy Castle. Hey, Mr. Blocker. I got more than enough. Let me through. Let's get out of here before Fatso discovers that Kongs are recovering the blueprints to his stupid machine.
That's so, is it? I'd choose your last words for, can you believe?
What's that? Who's that?
Any last requests?
I don't know how this Kasplat was gonna get out of here.
Yeah. He's gonna die.
I'm almost there. Safe.
I think not.
You never encounter a giant claptrap like that. Anyway, welcome to Creepy Castle with open bar. So, fun fact, first time I ever played Donkey Kong 64, this was the level I went to instead of Crystal Cave.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was a bit odd. Getting all the stage 6 and 7 power-ups in one go, but hey. It was certainly interesting. Yeah, as you can tell, this theme is really good.
Yep, nice little homage to the Donkey Kong arcade as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even know that when I was a kid.
Neither did I.
Probably out of tune right there.
Yep.
Oops.
That happens a lot in this. So as you saw, 50 of Donkey Kong's bananas were on a straight linear path.
That's right.
You might be wondering, where are the other 50 then? Well, they're scattered throughout the level, and I think the rest of those bananas going upward are tinies. Because of course they are. I can assure you, my lack of fondness of Tiny is more to do with the fact that she's just here to replace Dixie as opposed to being her own character.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because otherwise, why else is she here?
At least Chunky Kong's good. Probably
Yeah.
better than his younger brother.
Kitty.
Yep. Yeah.
Kitty.
But I never hated Kitty.
I always saw Kitty as just the Kong with the feety pajamas.
Pretty much.
And this is the last thing we're gonna get from Candy.
Yep. But hey, at least Dixie got her own game.
Yep. All she can do now is repairs. That's it.
That's correct.
Now you just gotta find Funky. You remember that weird bit in Proton John's Donkey Kong Country playthrough, right?
Well, not really. I didn't watch the entire thing because that was around the time I stopped supporting him.
I'm more referring to the third part after he finished beating the bootleg.
Oh, alright.
So after he beat the bootleg, he's like, let's go back. Back to Donkey Kong Country. Back. Donkey Kong Country. They ended up messing around a bit with the fast forward function. And suddenly we end up in a scenario where Funky Kong has taken over the entire world. All because they allowed him to become too funky.
Yeah, we're gonna get too funky, dudes!
To which Alex retorts with, "You can never be too funky."
Nope.
And I'm saying Nella as Rosa John tries to warn him to go back before it's too late. And John's then like, oh god, go back, go back. Later on in the playthrough, we see that Funky Kong has turned into Lavos from Chrono Trigger.
Oh boy.
Which I'm like, how much of your creativity went into this sketch, John? Because if it's every fiber of it, I'm sorry, man. I swear, Funky Kong is somewhere around here. Ugh.
You'll figure it out.
I hope I do.
Try somewhere a bit below. Outside, of course.
Okay, then. Well, I guess I gotta go back out. Let's can these. Okay, so just go down.
Yeah, just keep going back. Like backtracking a little.
Okay, then. I know my memory's being a bit rusty.
It happens. I think that's where you're supposed to go.
No, that's Tiny's splat.
Yep. Yeah, just keep going to the right.
Come on. Ah, there you are.
You're there. Yep, you found it.
Awesome.
Yeah, Funky's in there.
And there's Diddy's Kasplat. Well, I gotta get all the way up to the top of that castle so that I can get another final power up. So I had to make sure I get this first before I do anything else. sniper, which increases my shooting range.
Whoa, Donkey, you totally cleaned me out. That's for from this crazy monkey. Go knock some heads.
Well, good luck with it, dudes. I'll be here if you want ammo refills.
That's all Funky's ever gonna be good for, or for the rest of this game, which is a shame.
Right.
Well, for now we gotta go up and all the way to the top.
That's right. Now, Cranky's final upgrade.
Oh, bloody hell, I'm going to wait for those monkeys for a long time, aren't I?
Why, yes. Yes, you are.
Oh, that's just great. They're really scraping at the bottom of the barrel this time.
Which cranky voice are you trying to sound like?
It's actually my own. I'm
It
not
sound-
mimicking anybody.
It almost sounded similar to the Donkey Kong Country TV show voice.
And I haven't even watched that show.
I've seen Pro Jared's review of it.
Oh.
And I have seen the I want to shower you with coconut cream pies bit.
Oh, that one.
I'm like, what on earth were they thinking with these lyrics?
Yeah, and also the off-model characters.
And original the character, or Bluster Kong.
Uh-huh.
Okay, hold on a sec. I'm gonna swap Donkey for Tiny. I don't need to know the number. I can already tell that it's gonna take more than 4 Kongs this time around.
Yep.
Alright, let's get the rest of these bananas along the path. Alright, Cranky. No, I'm not interested in the game.
Don't want to play jetpack? Oh, get lost! What's wrong? You
Super-
heard me!
Super duper Simeon Slam. And this is our last power up from Cranky.
It's all the potions you're getting, ain't Tiny. Now scram and leave me in peace. That's right! Get lost! And don't come back!
And then Cranky, he starts to deeply miss the visits from his grandson.
I wonder why I don't have any friends. I'm starting to miss those Kongs.
No, camera, what are you doing?
Glitches with Old Man Stitches.
There's just too many of them.
Yes, too many of them about this whole Diablo thing, and I'm just making stuff up as I go.
Diablo has won. Ooh.
Oh,
I
God,
feel
miss
like-
the old completionist videos.
I loved that part in the Sneak King review. Because even Old Man Snitches didn't know what to make of this.
Yeah. Oh God, classic completionist was great.
And then Gerard just...
Ruined his career.
Yep. And Greg had nothing to do with it.
Yep. So, yeah, Greg was the good guy all along. Then again, he was the heart of it and the comedy.
Yep.
Because I still quote a lot of that stuff, like, Bears, big the cat!
And there's the other 50 bananas that are along the path. Now that we've gotten all that out of the way, let's go get the rest of the stuff.
Goodbye and good luck on your mission, Kongs.
Last time we're going to be doing this. Oh God. The best part is there is no end lag between. There's no input delay between. Damn it. I did not hesitate. There's the loop. There we go. Now we open up this area for both Donkey and Chunky. Goodbye, Barrel
right.
Blast. We'll miss you.
I hope you like a certain minigame that's coming up. Not once, but it's gonna be played twice in this world. And you know exactly which one I'm talking about.
At this point, what use is homing ammo?
Yeah.
Where's the ferry? I'm more focused on that right now, game. Why did I press it there? There we go. Finally. This is... And this is where the sniper ammo comes in handy. Rather, where the sniper rifle comes in handy. There we go. And now we get the Bonano. And it's like, someone ended up making a post about how a lot of people's opinion, a lot of people trashing on Sonic Adventure 2 and whatnot have kind of soured its reputation and all that. I had citing examples like Game Grumps and Pro Jared. Jared responds, and I'll do it again, to which I'm like, oh, you're not helping your reputation at all. And then he's like, and then he decides to say that he's plotting on doing Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood, which I'm like, Jared, no one is going to oppose you on that. I guarantee you. It's not a controversial take to say that game is shit. It really isn't. I swear this draw distance is what's killing me. There we go. Alright, what do we got this time?
Welcome to
This.
Hell.
Welcome to hell. No, there is no open bar. They closed it weeks ago. Well, at least the collision detection isn't as bad here as it was on the N64 or in various other emulators.
Yep.
Running out of time now.
Welcome to bonus stage.
You know, John briefly showed this minigame off in his playthrough of Donkey Kong Country just as a bit of a shitpost.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Because that entire playthrough was just a shitpost.
It pretty much was.
Like, he plays not just one version of Donkey Kong Country, but literally every version except for Donkey Kong Land. Which you'd think if he were going for all of that, if he were going to play all the Donkey Kong Country games, he would also play Land. Right, he would play Land. And I'm not talking like Donkey Kong Country. Maybe 1, 2, and 3. I'm talking because DK Land is also a port, or in some manner.
It's actually its own thing.
Is it though?
I mean, it kind of is. 'Cause
I
it's
say
got
that.
some
I
original
say that
elements.
with my I say that with my best Chris Hemsworth impression.
Donkey Kong Land 2 was more of a port or reimagining of
bonus
Diddy's
stage.
Conquest.
And you know, John's editor was imagining that at some point in the playthrough, John was probably going to showcase Donkey Kong Country Return.
Oh,
And apparently, by the end of it, the final boss must be a gangplank in Galleon, and was also done as part of a Smash Ultimate and match.
okay.
So he did the Game Boy Color version, in the Game Boy Advance version, the Super Nintendo version, and a bootleg.
Oh,
I'm like, you put in this much effort and dedication to this joke, only to reveal that it was a paradox as part of your playthrough of Donkey Kong Journey of Time and Space, where apparently it was an adventure through the multiverse. Come on, get in the fucking hole. There was a,
Welcome to bonus stage.
So, Damon, if only Sonic were here, you know that there was a Fate Zero abridgment, right?
possibly? I don't really...
It was titled Fate Zero,
oh,
which
okay.
which is zero in Spanish. So, essentially, it's almost, in terms of how it's presented as though it were code meant, but in Fate Zero.
Oh, okay.
And yes, Purple Eyes WTF is in this.
Nice.
Although, here's the thing, if you ever plan on watching actual Fate Zero, be warned that Fate Zero does not hesitate to spoil a certain important plot point regarding one of the servant in Zero.
Welcome to bonus stage.
Okay. Spoilers don't really bother me that much.
Well, here's the thing about heroic spirits in the Fate/Natsu-verse. They are loosely based off of actual historical figures or fictional folk heroes and whatnot, like Robin Hood, or in this case, King Arthur, or in the Knights of the Round Table, who dance whenever able.
I know what you're talking about. Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
On second thought, let's not go to Camelot, to the silly place.
Right, right.
And essentially, the premise is that depending on the object you are using as part of the servant
Welcome to
and
bonus
store,
stage.
depending on what you're using to summon the servant, and you'll end up getting a servant from literally any point in time, even if it's in a far off future, or which is the case of Archer Emiya in Fate State Night. Now, you might be wondering to yourself, where does King Arthur fit into all this? Here's the thing, some historical figures in the Nasuverse are turned into cute girls,
Oh no.
and Arthur is one of those. To the point where she is borderline the most famous as all of these male heroes turned into cute girls. It kind of codifies the term saber face. Now, each servant in the Nasuverse represents a different fighting style. The sabers are the standard sword fighters. There's not much is special about them, but they are the most, rather not really that big a deal. Oh, and they are and yeah, like I said, they are the quintessential sword fighters. Their lancers, on the other hand, are you know, lance wielders. However, they also happen to have the most shit luck in the entirety of the Nasuverse. Just ask Kukulane and Deermood. Anyway, and then we have the Archer class, which, as Rin and will oh so eloquently point out, is really made up of archers. That is the only meme-worthy line in the entirety of the English dub of the Fate series that actually got in the official dub.
Okay.
And they say a lot of stupid shit. I know. Oh, that it's supposed to mean something else. But unfortunately, the way things are translated, it's just a mess.
Welcome
Probably
to
is.
bonus stage.
Yeah. Next up is the caster class, which are essentially your mages. The thing is that a caster class would not want to go up against a saber class due to sabers having this perk known as anti-magic. How long is this gonna go on? Thank God. So casters essentially, it can be a wide variety of either actual spellcasters like Medea or conjurers like Jidirai. Yes, as one of history's most notorious child killers, it is a servant in this series. He is the caster. He is the caster servant in Fate Zero. And in the dub, he is voiced by Byakuya from Bleach. Meanwhile, another actor from Bleach's dub that's also in here, Johnny Young Bosch, is as well another serial killer by the name of Ryunosuke Uryu.
Oh.
Oh, and they get along quite well, to a very disturbing extent. Where the first half of the series revolves around our on our heroes having to deal with them. I guess we're gonna need to address something after the stream's done, because we've got something going on here. But anyway. Yeah. But anyway. Hey, after the caster servant, then there are the berserker servants. They essentially are powerful strength-focused servants who have the ability to decimate the competition, but they are. Well, here's the problem: they're also driven insane by an ability called Mad Enhancement. So, in spite of them having the sheer raw power, they also have the drawback of you know, being literally too angry to be reasoned with. And then we have the rider servant, which usually comes with a mount. Like, they usually come in with either a horse or the capability of summoning a mount. You get what I mean by that, right?
Probably.
Essentially, they are our horse riding class. Whereas, and a last servant on the table, assassin. I think you can take an educated guess as to what they are capable of.
Oh.
I mean, especially considering one of the most popular game franchises out there centers around assassination.
Let me guess, Assassin's Creed?
Yep.
And I'm not even into that franchise.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So the saber of Fate Zero is in fact Artoria Pendragon, aka Arthur Pendragon, but with boobs. She has an amazing talent with a sword. And her sword is mostly hidden through a veil of air. Reason being is because the true form of her sword is her noble phantasm, which is essentially the servant's most powerful attack. Should they use it, it risks exposing who they are. So, essentially, if they use the Noble Phantasm, they gotta make sure it's a guaranteed kill. And take a wild guess what Artoria's Noble Phantasm is.
I don't think I'd know, because I never got into Fate Zero.
No, I just mean, like, based on what you know historically of... what you know of King Arthur and whatnot.
I only know very little.
Excalibur,
Oh yeah, that. Oops.
and her scabbard, Avalon, acts as a means of healing a person, and but they have Avalon within their essence. After all, Avalon was able to make sure Arthur could never sustain injury. Reason essentially made him invincible. There was only one bit of a hiccup. His son, who unlike Suzaku Kururugi, cannot survive solely on a diet of crayons and lighter fluid. I'm sure you know what I just quoted there.
Probably not.
Code meant.
Oh, that one, yeah.
There was only one problem. His son. I could live entirely on a diet of crayons and lighter fluid. So essentially, Arturia was summoned by a man and named Kiritsugu Emiya, who is more or less meant to be, was more or less as the type who act pragmatically, rather than being out there with the servant into question. And when Arturia unleashes Excalibur, it essentially acts as a sort of nuke. So, as you can imagine, and she would be touted as pretty powerful, wouldn't you think?
Probably would, I guess.
She's supposedly the strongest saber servant. And however, the story kinda likes to, make it seem like she's not all that capable of putting up a good fight. Most of the time, except for when she does. It's one of those kinds of scenarios, if that makes any sense to you.
Okay.
And unfortunately, when Arthur is not there's dream of restoring Camelot. It seems to be regarded as a bit childish to the likes of Gilgamesh, who is the archer class servant and a ripe golden douchebag. Now, he is a real piece of work.
I bet.
He's voiced by David Vincent in the top of starting with Fate Zero. Oh, and we'll get into Gilgamesh a bit later.
Yeah.
So Arturia's story is essentially one where King Uther Pendragon and wanted to sire an heir to defeat a dragon that was attacking them, so they got... So, Uther ended up getting with the close friend of his wife, while Merlin disguised him as that friend. And had intimate relations, and, well, sure, he got an heir, but the problem was Arthur was born with a vagina, not with a penis.
Oh.
It's the medieval ages. It's not exactly a one where... Not exactly an age where women were allowed to do much. So... when it came time for Arturia to one day be king of Camelot, Merlin had a rigged trial of who could pull out the sword Caliburn, and she was able to do it and become king. Unfortunately for her, Arthur was not someone who really understood her people. By that I mean it's like she wants to protect them, but at the same time she doesn't really understand them. She doesn't, and she fights for her people, but she doesn't let her people fight with her, if that makes any sense to you.
Alright.
And eventually this ends up coming back to bite her. Or especially by the end of her tale. Well, in multiple occasions. Where... apparently... after Caliburn ended up breaking. And the Lady of the Lake ended up fishing out Excalibur, as well as giving the scabbard Avalon. And asking that it only be returned after she was done. And despite Arturia's best efforts, they got of disguising herself as a guy, while claiming that she has that it's a tunic and not a dress that she's wearing. She also has to contend with the fact that, as king, not only does she have to get married, but she also has to have an heir. Now, you would think, logically, at one point, Arturia would probably come out and say she's a woman, so they don't have to fake a marriage with a woman who doesn't even like her, or would rather be with Sir Lancelot, and whatnot. But no! Instead, she goes to Merlin and... essentially, she has him make her into a futanari. Yes, this is a real thing that happened in the Nasu-verse. I wish I was joking.
Oh, I know you're not.
Many of my coworkers know I don't tend to make shit up.
Oh, I know.
Anywho, so So Arturia would eventually have to deal with the fact that... So Merlin... So after Merlin ended up doing that to Arturia, she would then end up being, well, rid upon by her sister Morgan and Le Fay. You know. Well, if you've read DC Comics, you would know her as the person who tried to tempt John Jones, and had basically made Etrigan simple her.
And John Jones is Martian Manhunter.
Yep.
Thought
So yeah, Morgan Le Fay stole Arturia's stuff, and well, had a quote-unquote son who was also a girl.
Oh.
That was Mordred, who was tasked with sneaking into the Knights of the Round Table, but would never take off the helmet. Eventually, Mordred would find out that Arthur was her quote-unquote father, which, to be fair, since she did have the reproductive organs necessary to father a child, that isn't actually, factually speaking, true.
Wow.
I know. It's no... Oh... I can assure you it's weirder, or even in context. Anyway, so eventually when Mordred was elated to hear this bit of news and wanted to confront Arthur about it, tell her the truth, and Arturia was like, yeah, sorry, no. And Mordred decided to start a little rebellion in the Kingdom of Camelot. And Arthur was starting to lose ground. And unfortunately, Sir Lancelot went on a violent rampage to save Guinevere. And, well... Well, needless to say, hey, at the end of the day, the Kingdom of Camelot came to an end, and much like Merlina had predicted, much like how Merlina had predicted in Sonic and the Black Knight, and Mordred and Arturia died via a simultaneous stabbing of each other. Arturia stabbed her with Rongo Miniad, and Mordred had stabbed her with the blade that she had stolen. Arturia would then later be contacted by the will of the people, and she would become a counter guardian and meant to destroy a powerful evil, which would be the thing that possesses the Holy Grail in the 4th and 5th Grail Wars. So that's essentially the lore of King Arthur in a nutshell, which, by the way, Sir Lancelot also ends up becoming a servant. And And unfortunately, one of those people and unfortunately, Sir Lancelot ends up becoming, well, a Berserker servant. He becomes the Berserker servant in Fate Zero. This is a mystery that is not revealed until near the end of Fate Zero, when he has a climactic battle with Arturia. And at first, Arturia couldn't really bring herself to hurt, or rather to kill Sir Lancelot, since she used to be such, since he was one of her people. Well, until eventually, she had to bring herself to do so. And Sir Lancelot, I would go on being known as one of the more recognizable Berserker servants in the series.
Oh.
So, that little violent bit from Monty Python and the Holy Grail kind of made sense in hindsight.
Probably did.
Oh, bloody hell. And now, as for another of the servants, Gilgamesh, the golden douchebag of the Nasu-verse, he is one that even as king, and condescended mortals, referring to them as mongrels. There was only one person he considered his true friend, and whose name is currently escaping me at the moment. And eventually he would kind of abandon his kingdom and go on adventures with this friend. And the kingdom was somewhat relieved, and then he had to start trouble with Ishtar, who looks eerily similar to one of the main characters of Stay Night, Rin Tosaka, in this version. And yes, it can possibly get weirder. Or if you could believe that.
Oh, alright.
As for Gilgamesh possesses the Gate of Babylon, which houses his various weapons. every single weapon that he has, as that he fires with about as much, with quite a bit of reckless abandon, and is a noble phantasm. His most powerful weapon is the Sword of Rupture, known as Ea, or Anuma Elish. He believes that sword is not to be used on anything except for what he considers the most necessary of targets, or even the most worthy. Which is one of the other servants, is Skandar, the King of Conquerors, aka Alexander the Great. He's a big muscle mountain of a man, and who has an army at his disposal in his reality marvel, which is essentially an entire dimension dedicated into housing either the weapons or in his case, the troops that were dedicated to his cause. His personality essentially is very similar to Kamina from Gurren Lagann. Another of the servants is Diarmid Uva Urbine, and a man who wields a pair of lances and has a charm that kind of did him in. By that I mean he has a charm ability that he himself cannot turn off, and that has caused him to get in trouble with his lord to the point where he got executed. One of his lances has the ability to undo magic, like any barrier, any concealment and whatnot, while the other lance inflicts a permanent injury onto a person that'll never recover. So, yeah.
Oh.
And as I mentioned, the Berserker Servant and Sir Lancelot, though anything he touches, though as his disguise, anything that he comes into contact with becomes his noble phantasm. In reality, his true noble phantasm is Arendite, his sword. Which, yes, that is the legendary sword that Sir Lancelot is known for wielding. In case you were curious.
Alright.
And let's see. The assassin class servant in this series in Fate Zero is known as Hassan Isaba, who is Arabic. This variant of Hassan is known as the 100 Faces. There are many. Essentially, Hassan as an army of assassins. Some male, some female. Well, overall, you get an army of assassins at your disposal, as opposed to one. And that is essentially his gimmick. But that is only one variant of Hassan. There are a few others. And I believe I gotta cover her caster, which And Jidirai in this universe is a conjurer of sorts, able to summon a bunch of disgusting creatures.
Okay.
Which, let's just say, the Grail has shown some of the servants enough hentai to know where that's going.
Yep, and this is coming from a guy, me, who's not into hentai.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just not into it. Like, no thanks.
That's fair. That's entirely fair. Well, since I'm not getting anywhere at this point, I'm trying to find Donkey Kong's last banana. Wonder if it's in the library. 'Cause I can't think of anywhere else that Donkey Kong needs to be right now. Hold on a second. Oh, never mind. Turns out there is somewhere that I missed. Boy, oh boy, when you think you know you game. So yeah, that's essentially all of the servants in Fate Zero. Now, Arturia does come back as a servant in Fate Stay Night. Right, but this time she's paired up with somebody who is far more compatible with her personality in the form of Shiro Emiya, Kiritsugu's adoptive son. Okay, that's all of Donkey Kong's bananas. Aside from the blueprints.
Nice.
And... Great, I need Chunky here. And, now to get into the servants from Stay Night, which is the sequel series to, Zero. Aside from, Arturia, there's only a handful, well, that's needed to be mentioned. And one such being meeting Medea, aka Castor. You know, from Jason and the Argonauts. She essentially betrayed Jason. In case you were curious as to what was going on there.
Oh, alright.
Now... Oh, in... Now, in this series... She essentially... It was already summoned and by another person and who ended up trying to experiment on children and by using them as mana sources and she's like, you know, you could just do this. And she offers a solution, but he doesn't take too kindly to that solution. She ends up trying to... He ends up trying to get her to do what... Essentially... Another element that I gotta explain about the Fate series is that at what keeps a servant tied to the mortal world are these marks on a person's hand called command skills or command spells, whatever or translation you feel like going with nowadays. And you only get 3 command skills to get a servant to do what you want. And after that, at their time in the mortal world is very limited. And to the point where and where they're doomed to fade away. While archers have this ability called this ability that lets them sustain themselves for a bit longer, more than most servants, but that just feels like a plot contrivance. Anyway. Okay, so... Oh, this guy ended up using his command seal on... No. On Medea to make her not use Rule Breaker on him. So what does she do? She uses it on herself.
Oh boy.
Rule Breaker is a noble phantasm that can break a contract between a servant and a master. Or just by making contact with either the servant or the master. But the thing is that Rule Breaker is a short-range melee weapon. And in case I haven't made it clear, casters are not known for physical defense. So she's not exactly stacked in that regard. She eventually, after escaping from her cruel and unreasonable master, she ends up finding another, in the form of Soichiro Kuzuki, who is also an assassin that happens to disguise to go under the guise of a school teacher. they end up marrying and whatnot. Through Caster's somewhat interesting means, she's able to summon
Welcome to bonus
a
stage.
fake servant in the form of Kojiro Sasaki as an assassin. And what's tying him to the immortal world is guarding a gate. Which seems odd given that he's an assassin, and by far one of the most talented swordsmen in the entirety of the Nasuverse. And Kojiro Sasaki is based off of a powerful assassin who is able to take down a bird with what appears to be a simultaneous strikes. And he's also. And the blade itself is called Laundry Pole. I know, not exactly a manly sounding name, but beggars can't be choosers.
Yep.
It's meant to be a assassin style katana. And it's a very long one at that. Though it's not designed for dueling opponents, it is more than capable of doing so. Oh, as demonstrated with his fights against Arturia in the various routes of Stay Night. Stay Night is a visual novel with at least 3 routes. And each route kind of centers around one of 3 potential love interests for Shiro Emiya, who is the main character. Anywho. Oh, then we have Lancer, aka Ku Kalane, who has terrible luck. He dresses in a blue skin-tight suit, which is meant to be a nod to which, based on the way it shows off his physique, is meant to be a nod onto the fact that in Ireland he fought in the nude.
Oh.
Yeah. He was so badass that even when he died, he still got up. He was still able to avenge himself before passing away. And he was tied to an object at that time.
Wow.
I know. One of the most badass ways to go out, and unfortunately the servant in question is treated like a total joke. Okay, half the time. He was summoned by a master. By a master, but then she was killed by the master of assassin and in the previous Grail War, or Kire Kotomine, who is the overseer of the 5th Grail War. Kire essentially is abusing his power here. You're as the supervisor and designated neutral party.
Welcome to bonus stage.
Oh, hello. So unfortunately, Kukulane is stuck in servitude to a man he doesn't like,
Okay.
which is Kirei, and Kirei is essentially an antagonist in this story. Another servant is the rider servant, initially summoned by Sakura Mato, one of Shiro Emiya's classmates. But unfortunately, Sakura was coerced by her quote-unquote brother. She's not actually related. And she was just forced into this family because her father is a total idiot. Her father being the father of Rin Tosaka. So Rin and Sakura are siblings. And unfortunately for... And Ryder is Medusa, you know, the classic Gorgon.
Yep.
She has beautiful flowing pink hair and quite the bod. However, she also has a blindfold on her for, you know, obvious reasons. Reasons that are tied into her mythology. Which essentially has her turn people to stone just by looking at them. And that is one aspect of her true power. Or the other aspect being the fact that she is also a Valkyrie. Yes, she has a Pegasus.
Nice.
And in 2 out of 3 of the routes, unfortunately, Ryder gets the short end of the stick. In that her character is never really explored beyond on her just being another villain that Shiro has to deal with due to being in servitude to Shinji, who has no magic aptitude whatsoever due to his magic circuits. It's just not existing. And so he has to use command seals tied to a book that he has. If that book ever gets burnt, Ryder will return to Sakura. This is only explored in the 3rd of the 3 routes. And then last but not least, is the Berserker servant, aka Heracles. You might know who this person is. He's kind of a big deal.
Yep, I can tell who that is.
He's a big mountain of a man, and is the servant of Elias Veal von Einsburn, and he cares for her, and he ends up caring for her like he would have of his own kids. One of the lamest thing about the enemies in this particular stage, one of them is a bedsheet ghost.
Yep.
Ooh, I'm a ghost. Ooh.
I'm gonna get you. Now, I do have to cover the details of Archer Emiya, since he is also one of the most important figures in this story. Archer Emiya is essentially if Emiya ended up getting what he wanted, but not in the way that he would have wanted, which was, you know, being a hero of justice. You know, it's one of those be careful what you wish for, you might just get it, that kind of deals.
Yep, pretty much.
Welcome to bonus stage.
Now it's time for Minecart Mayhem. Again.
And the prom's tomorrow.
I forget, what Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridgment is that from?
That was from the end of season 3. You know, the clip show episode.
Oh.
And honestly, I prefer the abridged version of that because the actual episode, whether Japanese or English, that is my least favorite episode in the entire original show.
Shows are the worst episodes of any series.
Pretty much.
It's just
Welcome to bonus stage.
so bad.
Yeah. And you want to know something? Episode 143 of Season 3 should have been the last episode of the season, because that's where it ends in the manga.
Yep. But no, Studio Gallop had to extend it.
Yep. And the thing about those clip shows is the animation supervisor is the only one who does key animation. That isn't a flashback.
That is not a good sign for your anime.
Or we could either play a card game, or we could flashback to previous episodes to save the animators time and money.
Welcome to bonus stage.
And then after that, they end up not adhering to the canon and going straight into a filler arc.
Yep.
Not just once, but twice.
Yep. Doma and the KC Grand Prix.
Both of them suck. Why is Martin doing dignifying filler? Nobody asked you to do that.
Yeah. And it's gonna take him years to get
Welcome
that
to
shit
bonus
done.
stage.
How about maybe focus on yourself, try to improve your mental health, and maybe get an editor to help you like with Season 4.
Yeah, at least even if one kid's turned out to be a total dickbag, he was actually a really good editor.
And you also had Masako X and Inagata Davida editing these episodes too.
And
Welcome to bonus stage.
and then it's just and it just feels like a lot of the jokes in Martin's stuff of lately has been over-exaggerating a lot of the dub lines from the 4Kids dub.
And also the jokes aren't that funny anymore, like they just overuse the jokes.
Yeah.
I would dare say Season 3 was the last funny season. Season 4 had a few little moments, but Season 5 just sucks.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like it's gonna get any better anytime soon.
Yep, and after an abridged episode's done, I'm like, well, see you in a year or two.
Anyway.
Don't
Welcome
worry,
to
I've
bonus
struggled
stage.
with this one too.
Anyway, so... Oh, the abridgment... So yeah, it's just like... And also, Season 4 had a fucking clip show at the end of it.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. But I will say, even though it's a filler arc, I'd have to say Doma is probably one of the better filler arcs in the show.
Welcome to bonus stage.
Welcome to bonus steak.
Sir, it's stage, not steak.
Well, I could go for a steak right now.
Welcome to bonus stage.
It does sound like he's saying steak.
Yep.
So that... Also, Curtis Arnott's, Dart's voice is certainly something.
Yep, and it has like this, cause we gonna do him on motorcycles.
My friends, there is but one way to defeat that douchebag. We will do him.
Did you say do him?
I said do him. What part of do him don't you understand, douchebag? We gonna do him. Together. All four of us. Do him hard and do wobbly. Do him so hard that he will feel it in the morning when he wakes up.
I miss the Evil Council series. Hey, remember when he used to do those mini video series? Good times.
Good times indeed.
Yep. And there was a lot of variety back then.
Please welcome Johnny Steps.
Ooh, are you saying do or doodle?
Do!
Do!
So you want us to do Merrick?
Yes, douchebag, and I will stand here and watch you do him.
Oh,
Okay, let's go do Merrick, I guess. Do him, douchebag. No wobbly.
well, I did not know you wanted to get into the Pharaoh's pit.
Here, you put them on.
By the way, that a couple of the, by the way, that Dart's voice is based off of a character from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, which influenced a lot of Martin Villain's humor. I mean, after all, why else would we have Steve Loomis and Steve Umbra, aka the Moonanites? Firing in 3, 2, 1. Quad laser go. Exactly how long is this going to take? Just give it a moment and it will reach its target.
Yeah, it'll go right up your butt.
I said what?
In the butt.
I said what? Add it up to here with them. obelisk attack their life points directly. Impossible! Well, none will be able to defy the quad laser, and any attempt to do so will only be met with ow! I feel like, the Moonanites were the strangest part of Season 2 Abridged.
Yep. And I shall go down again like a ninja. I probably got that line wrong.
Couldn't he have just taken the stairs? Ooh, I'm a big scary bedsheet ghost. Fear me.
We will haunt you until you die. And
Like-
now I sound like James from Pokemon.
I don't know what's more overpowered, Ultra Instinct Shaggy or Based James. Well, anyway, I believe we've gone on quite a while. Gonna create a restore point here. So I believe next time on Donkey Kong 64, we will be continuing our trek through the creepiest of castles. So until then, toodaloo.